Good afternoon. I'm Andrea de Ott. I'm a clinical psychologist in my homeland, Ecuador, and I'm also a clinical social worker here in the United States. I'm right here in my office, Portchester, and I've decided to start talking in videos, in social media, out of my will, really, because, I thought that social media was a place to actually have fun and entertain yourself and connect with your family, connect with your friends. But I guess that people's ignorance has grown out of control. And I've had some issues with people attacking me and my career because of social media information. And I've also realized that people's ignorance is quite large, because especially about my career, especially about what I do, psychology and American social work. You see, I don't think I needed to be a greater artist or a greater person than that. I've done a tremendous service to humanity. I'm very grateful, I'm very proud of my work. And as a matter of fact, let me explain it to you in clear language what the High Priestess play is about. The High Priestess play, and what you see in flamenco psychotherapy, or what you see now because out of obligation I've had to educate you in psychology, is a technique and a skill set in which I'm using acting as a way to compartmentalize the psyche of complex trauma survivors. It's actually a toolbox for my clients. And I began with my own work, in my own psyche, because I'm a brave clinician. I'm a person with integrity. So I divided my psyche in different characters. My younger child, Malvina, who is innocent, pure, loving, who really has all that purity of herself, as you saw when I was at the beach with a white dress. She was severely traumatized and very much abused when she was a young child. She's a survivor of complex trauma, of sexual abuse and abandonment trauma. It's a tremendous struggle. And those are the lives, for the most part, that I've served throughout my life. Very difficult. People with a lot of narcissistic injuries. As a result of that type of trauma, the psyche gets injured. We call that a narcissistic injury. And it's not that we're out of love or we're not pure. It's that we develop a defense as a result, protective mechanisms to protect our own inner child. Those defense mechanisms are, for example, Athena, warrior woman. A defensive woman who is very much like that. Listen, you mess with me, I would absolutely mess with you. You damn me, you try to screw my career, my livelihood, the food that I put on my daughter's table, and believe me, you will be witchcraft or whatever the hell that is, if you think of that. Know that I'm going to do anything to you, but in my mind, sweetheart, listen, it's not gonna go well, okay? I do not have relationships with people to try to harm me. Yes, it is my defense. I'm a very protective person. I'm a single mother. I'm a widow. I suffered in my life. That's basically what Athena is about. Warrior and wisdom. Self-regulation. Do not cross my boundary ever if you want to have a relationship with me. You know very well what my boundary is. My self-preservation. That's anyone's boundary. Anael, who is another character, she's a flamenco dancer. She's a very sexy girl. She's very protective, though, of her sexuality. She doesn't use her sexuality to go around like the American women style, because I don't support that. I'm Catholic, okay? And although I've enjoyed my sexuality, I use it for my embodiment, for my health, for my inner health, to create beauty, to create art. And as you could see in my life, because I'm still a widow, if any man wants to have really a relationship with me, sweetheart, you'll have to marry me. Okay? That's what happened in my life. I didn't care that a white tall boy with blue eyes went there and he was in love with me. I said, listen, you want to get involved with me? You marry me. That's my culture. I wasn't raised for this. Oh, give me your number and I'll see you later. Sweetheart, you better not mess with me. Okay? That's Anael. Yes, a defense part, a healthy part. She has been used for embodiment, which is a very important objective in the recovery of people who have been traumatized with the sexual abuse. A very important technique that I came up with, flamenco psychotherapy. We also, of course, have Moses now, yes, the masculine part, because the masculine part is what harmonizes everything. Because even in Jungian psychology, where I was trained in my young years by Vera Kong, I was trained in the fact that all the psyches are actually unisex, that we're both male and female. And that's the main aspect of this entire technique. Okay? I think that for the most part, when we're talking about the use of self, and when we're talking about this type of work that I'm doing, complex trauma work, it's a sophisticated type of work. Self-integration, self-cohesion, self-leadership is very important for attaining emotional regulation. A lot of clinicians, a lot of theorists have talked about these techniques. If you want to investigate more about the techniques and the literature that has influenced my work, you can go and look into internal family systems, Gestalt therapy, trauma systems therapy, where I was trained and where I trained a lot of people in family services of Westchester. You could look into family systems, which is the one that I redefined and I taught in Fordham University. You could investigate into Freudian analysis even, where when people are talking, you know, this is the other crazy thing, you know, people really think that psychology is some kind of guru-like thing, some sort of discipline. Oh, I know about psychology. Sweetheart, psychology is a science, okay? When you talk about finding your true self, in psychodynamics, you know, we even know, even the master of psychodynamics, the neurologist that actually created the structure of the psyche, Freud, divided even the self in three parts: the id, the ego, and the superego. That's the basic, you know, dimension of the psyche. So when people really think that everybody's a psychologist and everybody's a psychotherapist and you could just do whatever you want, I mean, it is crazy. You know, really, if you want to learn psychology, if you want to develop the art, you know, go to an appropriate school. It would take years of education. It would take perhaps, you know, what it took me, 20 years. But if you like the skill, if you like the art of psychology, which is one of the most sophisticated arts, you know, psychotherapy and even American social work, which is even much more difficult. So American social work, which is my profession in this country, is a political profession. That's why I redefined this framework to have interventions not only at the individual level, because it's very hard, the person can change if the person keeps being activated by the system. Some systems have created mental health issues. The United States, for example, you know, it's a systemically mentally ill system that needs restructure, that needs change if it wants to maintain mental health and mental balance. Is a reality. We got a real serious problem here with narcissism, systemic paranoia, borderline, schizophrenia, you know, really complex disorders. At the beginning and in my career, I certainly was intrigued and I certainly was motivated by these disorders. But it gets to a point where I, as a worker, as a person who served humanity, have to ask for change if you want to actually have mental health. Because this way, the society can no longer go. And that's all I wanted to say. Thank you very much. And thank you so much for being so intrigued about my life in my social media and about me dancing reggaeton in bikini and creating problems for me and my career. I'm very grateful to you. And of course, for you, there is a tenna. Thank you. Have a nice day.